Welcome back. Nice to see you again. So now we've got our pre-approval, we've searched for houses, we've found our house, we've written the offer, we've talked about ways that the seller can respond to our offer. We got binding acceptance. Yeah, you got an accepted offer on a house. And it really didn't take as long as you think it did. It took about as long as, well, maybe a little bit longer than watching all these videos. Now we get into the inspections. And then with these inspections and the testing, you're going to have some decisions to make. The first inspection we have is the home inspection. And that is, depending on how much time you have, is how much time your agent wrote into the little box that says, home inspection to be done within so many days. I usually do 10 to 15, somewhere in there. And that means you only have that amount of time to figure out this inspection contingency and to meet the inspection contingency and to waive the inspection contingency, or maybe things came up when the home inspector came in that you just don't want to deal with the house. When you decide that, the home inspector comes in and he's going to go through the whole house. He's going to check your furnace, he's going to check the appliances that are left, he's going to check for problems in the foundation. Now, again, we're in Wisconsin, so we tend to have basements. I know some of you in other parts of the country, you don't have basements, so you don't care about the foundations. To us in southeast Wisconsin, they're really important. Basements are our biggest nightmares and our best friends, and we can't live without them. So when the home inspector comes in, he gets done, he's going to send you a report. All the things he found, or all the things he didn't find. Kind of unusual, usually there's one or two things. And as the buyer, you have to decide what's important to you. You know, is the fact that the guy has a toilet that doesn't flush right, is that worth losing the house over? I actually did have a buyer walk because of that. She decided the house wasn't good for her cats because the toilet didn't flush. She got out of the deal. So you have to decide what's important. How important is this house? If you think that the house is this important to you, we can ask the seller to fix things depending on two things. One, we have to find out, did we give the seller the right to cure? What that means is, when we wrote that offer to purchase, did we cross out the line that says seller has the right to cure? If we did, that means that when you saw the toilet didn't flush right, you can write an amendment. Seller at seller's expense will hire a licensed plumber to get the toilet to flush right. Or if, I don't know, the bathtub isn't draining properly, seller at seller's expense will hire a plumber to fix the bathtub. And the seller can choose to say yes or no. If the seller chooses not to agree to this amendment, well, then you have a right to a notice of defects. Seller won't fix toilet, offer's null and void. That's how my buyer got out of it with the cats, because cats weren't going to like the house. If we give the seller the right to cure, that means that we found the toilet doesn't flush right, the bathtub's leaking, and the refrigerator ice maker isn't connected. So we write a notice of defects. This is what we object to. We object to these three things being wrong. We want the seller to fix this. We can't tell the seller how. We can't tell him he has to hire a licensed plumber or a licensed electrician. But we can say we want him to fix these things. We don't have the right to walk away. Well, Mr. Seller now, he's the one that can say what he's going to do. He can say, yes, I'm going to fix this. And he has 10 days to tell us this. Or he can say, I'm not going to fix anything. You know what? Offer's null and void. So that's when the amendment or the notice of defects comes in. And that's part of the home inspection and the testing process. Now, with the testing, one thing, at least in Wisconsin, remember we're always sticking to Wisconsin here. With Wisconsin, when it comes to testing, like radon, the seller's already agreed in addendum A that if the radon levels are too high, he's already agreeing to put in a radon mitigation system, because that's right in our contract. The normal home inspection things are not in our contract, but what we can do is it does say in our contract that should the home inspector find something that he is unsure of, he can write down that it should be checked by a licensed professional. In other words, he measures a wall, and again, we're Wisconsin, love our basements. He measures a wall in the basement, he sees that the wall is out of plumb or it's bowing by an inch. Ooh, that's against standards in Wisconsin. He can suggest in his report that a professional foundation specialists, or even a structural engineer come and look at this and evaluate the basement. We still are within our home inspection period. We have time. Our contract states we can get this specialist in. Sellers agreed to it. So we get our specialist in. Specialist says, this wall's bad. We need braces just on this wall. Here's how much it'll cost. Again, we can add that either to our amendment to ask the seller to fix it, or we can add it to our notice of defects. And what the seller does will depend on whether he had the right to cure or he didn't have the right to cure. And that is our segment on home inspections and testing. Thank you for watching. Again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let Kraus find your perfect house.